Ukrainian forces intensified their middle-range strikes on Russia's supply lines, making Russian positions impossible to sustain. As a result, the Russian command started planning for a withdrawal tens of kilometers deep and without a fight. Recently, Kherson became the first sector where the Ukrainian strike campaign produced results. Ukrainian units equipped with medium-range strike capabilities have been instructed to focus their efforts on disrupting logistics lines between 20 and 150 kilometers behind the front line. This aims to supplement the standard FPV drones, which strike up to 20 kilometers deep, and the ongoing Deep Strike campaign, which extends up to 2,000 kilometers deep. Ukrainian brigades have intensified their strikes and expanded their reach deeper into Russian logistical networks, effectively establishing a 150-kilometer deep kill zone. Ukrainian operators have reported a significant increase in their fire control range across the Kherson region. Specialized FPV drones can now reach settlements located up to 30 kilometers from the right bank of the Dnipro River, while some drones are capable of flying distances of up to 50 kilometers and are highly resistant to Russian electronic warfare. Ukrainian units use heavy drones to remotely mine Russia's main logistical routes. At the same time, the 30th Marine Corps has been conducting strikes against Russian logistics vehicles in the Skadovsk area, approximately 60 kilometers behind the front line, using large mother drones to carry FPV drones. These efforts are all part of a coordinated campaign designed to systematically degrade Russian logistics and motorized activity throughout the region. As Ukrainian strikes expanded deeper into the Russian rear, Russian logistics became increasingly restricted. Trucks, fuel tankers, and supply vehicles faced growing losses not only on major highways, but also on secondary roads. This progressively reduced Russia's ability to sustain frontline forces. Supply deliveries became increasingly unreliable, while fuel shortages worsened as Ukrainian forces expanded their targeting from fuel tankers to refueling infrastructure itself. In one notable strike, Ukrainian forces hit a gas station in Skadovsk. As a result, even when fuel managed to reach the area, Russian vehicles often lacked functioning facilities where it could be distributed and used. Combined with continuing losses of transport vehicles, this left many frontline units with increasingly unstable access to ammunition, fuel, reinforcements, and other essential supplies. Over time, these disruptions created a cascading effect in which some Russian positions became operationally unsustainable. Because of the strikes and the growing personnel losses, Russia's ability to move, reinforce, and supply forces steadily deteriorated. One of the clearest examples emerged on the Kinburn Spit, where a Russian regiment was ultimately forced to withdraw from the northern and western coastal sections of the peninsula. These positions were already among the most difficult to supply because of their remote location. After some troops were redeployed to the Zaporizhia sector, the remaining forces were left with insufficient manpower, while reinforcements never arrived. This withdrawal is particularly significant because it was not caused by a direct Ukrainian ground assault. Instead, it resulted from the gradual breakdown of Russian logistics under sustained Ukrainian strike pressure. The Kinburn Spit demonstrates how expanding strikes can restrict logistics, make resupply unreliable, render positions unsustainable, and ultimately force units to abandon them without being attacked on the ground. Although the Spit's exposed geography makes it more vulnerable than most sectors of the front, it provides an early example of the outcome Ukraine is trying to achieve elsewhere, which is to force Russian troops to withdraw because their positions can no longer be sustained.
Russian infiltrators slipped into Pokrovsk, but drones and rapid response units cut them off before Moscow's 100,000 troops could join the fight. Russian sabotage units slipped through a gap in Ukrainian defenses on the outskirts of Pokrovsk, taking control of buildings and launching ambushes on Ukrainian units passing by. However, Ukrainian rapid reaction forces responded immediately, clearing the infiltrators before Russia could exploit the breach. To the south of Pokrovsk, Russian sabotage and reconnaissance units managed to infiltrate the outskirts of the town through Zvyrov, exploiting a momentary Ukrainian infantry shortage that created a large gap on the front line. Leveraging local terrain such as the Tarakan area, these infiltrators staged ambushes, targeting passing Ukrainian patrol vehicles, and dug themselves in several houses throughout Pokrovsk. However, the Ukrainian command responded swiftly by deploying rapid reaction units, urgently initiating clearance operations to neutralize the infiltrators and swiftly deal with this sudden threat. Nevertheless, small enemy groups continued their attempts at infiltration, primarily at night, aiming to secure positions within the town perimeter until reinforcements arrived. To counteract these persistent threats, Ukrainian forces have intensified drone surveillance over key infiltration routes, with the 47th Separate Assault Brigade releasing footage showing drone strikes successfully neutralizing enemy infantry near Zvyrov. Following this infiltration, the Russians appeared briefly poised for a direct assault on Pokrovsk, yet their reaction was curiously delayed. They were not ready to exploit the sudden break in the lines, causing them to miss the brief window of Ukrainian vulnerability. By the time Russian forces assembled for an organized push, Ukrainians had reorganized the defense, and they had to start from scratch with preliminary probing attacks. One such attempt involved an infantry assault group mounted on motorcycles departing from Shevchenko. But Ukrainian FPV drone operators swiftly detected and eliminated them before they could even leave their staging area. Undeterred, Russian commanders attempted a mechanized assault, the first in months for this area, again originating near Shevchenko, employing 3 armored vehicles. Ukrainian artillery and drone teams swiftly responded, obliterating the advancing armor and open terrain, exploiting their vulnerability without cover. The Russians were also desperate enough to move up a TOS-1 thermobaric artillery piece near the front line, an immensely powerful artillery system, but suffering from a short range of under 4 kilometers, allowing Ukrainians to easily destroy such a powerful Russian asset. A A significant factor contributing to these disorganized and ineffective Russian attempts lies in Ukraine's strategic operational targeting, which has severely disrupted Russian logistics and command structures. Ukrainian ATIMARS missile strikes systematically target troop concentrations in and around Donetsk city, effectively thinning out Russian frontline manpower long before troops even deploy forward. Such attacks drastically reduce Russian operational readiness and create logistical nightmares, leaving commanders scrambling to find soldiers for assaults. Further deepening Russian disarray, Ukrainian forces recently executed a devastating follow-up precision strike on the headquarters of Russia's 8th Guards Combined Arms Army in Donetsk. As you remember from a previous report, the first successful strike took out the only Russian commander who made any real gains for Russia in the past year. Now the second strike effectively decapitated the Russian local command by killing the newly appointed commander, along with more than 10 other high-ranking officers, including his potential successor.